afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are watching from. Here is Moji Taiwo, your host of the Immigrant Experience Show, coming to you from Calgary, Alberta. I am also the author of I Give Because I'm Blessed Because I Give, a chronicle of an immigrant's journey. And most recently, I have just written a children's picture book series called Grandma and Her Munchkins, an everyday adventure, available everywhere you get your books and on my website, mojitaiwo.com. On this episode of the Immigrant Experience Show, I have the privilege, a rare privilege of having a special host, Dr. Sally Zhao, as our guest today. Dr. Zhao obtained her PhD in ESL, English as a Second Language, Testing and Assessment, and an MA in Language and Communication from Cardiff University, United Kingdom. She also received her M.Ed in Teaching English for Specific Purposes from the University of Exeter in UK as well, and a B.A. in English Language and Literature from Lanzhou University, China. Dr. Zhao is the Chief Executive Officer of the Immigrant Education Society. She joined the Immigrant Education Society, which is also called TAI, in November 2005 as a volunteer tutor in the drop-in ESL program. Since then, she has served in different roles within the organization and as an instructor, ELT instructor, LINC program manager, and executive director designate. On November 1st, 2014, Dr. Sally Zhao became the executive director of the Immigrant Education Services, a title that later changed to the Chief Executive Officer. And today, she has won so many leadership and service awards, many, too many to mention on this show because we only have a limited time. We won't be able to cover everything. But I would like to mention that most recently, she received the Queen Elizabeth II Medal for Exemplary Service, Community Service. Did I capture almost everything?
Yes, you did.
Thank you so much. So we are honored to have you on the Immigrant Experience Show.
Thank you so much.
This show, as I mentioned to you, is to showcase and highlight the contributions of immigrants in Canada and the challenges that immigrant faces every day. You, in your position, will be able to highlight more of those challenges as we continue our discussion. But let me begin by asking you about your own journey. Where did you originated from?
I was born and raised in China.
In China. And when did you come to Canada?
I came to Canada in 2005 and immigrated here together with my family.
With your family. May I ask, why did you choose Canada?
Why did I choose Canada? That's a very good question. Actually, coming to Canada is not my choice, and I finished my PhD study and also the master's from UK. Our original plan was to go back to China and to teach at the university.
Mm-hmm.
But my husband immigrated to Canada, so I just followed him.
Well, it's interesting. I've come across many stories like that where the original story or the intention was not to stay, like mine. I came as a student, and my intention was not to stay. And here I am 40-something years later.
Yes.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So when you arrived in Canada with your family, what are some of the, I say challenges, but I don't want to say, I don't know which other word. You're the English teacher. What other word can I use instead of challenge?
Well, I often use challenges as well, some hardships, some difficulties, but the challenge is a common word we all use.
Okay.
Yes.
So what are some of the challenges that you experience personally?
I think for me, and the first one is a culture shock. Although I was in UK for over 6 years. I was studying there for my master's degrees and PhD as well. But moving to Canada, I found still culture shock. So British culture is different from Chinese culture. North American culture is also different from British culture.
That's
so
right.
Culture shock is one of the challenges.
Yes.
So we have to adapt to it. And the second one, I think, as a visible minority and newcomer, I think I do experience some challenges in the way people tend to challenge me. So especially as a ESL teacher, that was my background, and education as well. So I did have a lot of language challenges, but still people would challenge me what kind of qualifications I have, and which put me in that position. For example, I was a LINK program manager. So LINK is meaning language instruction for newcomers to Canada.
Okay.
So a lot of my teachers at that time were from Calgary, local people.
Yes.
And so they look at me, minority visible Chinese. And
Chin English.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so they would look at me. I think I remember one of the new teachers, and she just approached me and said, what qualification do you have? Kind of like the facial expression told me that is a challenge, not kind of like a just pure question. So
it's not, the question was not asked out of curiosity or
No, I don't think so.
knowledge-based question.
I think challenged me
It
in
was
a way.
challenging question.
Exactly. I think I got the message like, I'm a native speaker, and I'm from Calgary local, right? Why you are Chinese to be my manager? So, but later on, I really earned her respect because my knowledge, my experience, and kind of demonstrated that I could be her supervisor, and I could mentor her. I could, and help her in a lot of ways in her teaching career.
So what I'm getting here that I would like our viewers to gain, whether their first language is English or otherwise, is that don't judge a book by its cover.
Exactly.
Until you flip through the pages or the chapters to actually learn about that individual.
Yes, exactly.
Yes. Just because a person look like you and I doesn't mean that we don't have superior command of the English language.
Exactly.
That somebody who's born with that language as their first language.
Yes.
Yeah. And that applies to everything in our lives.
Exactly.
That it pays to be patient, to take time to discover.
Yes.
Rather than jumping into conclusions.
Yes. It's kind of like racism, right? And it is not my own experience, but one of my colleagues' experience. And she's black, and I think once we went out for a conference, people asked, "Where are you from?" She said, "I'm from Calgary," and people said, "Where are you from?" She said, "I'm from Calgary." She said, "Where are you really from?" So that type of question, I think, is very, very unfriendly. It's not kind of like a curiosity, as you said. No, it's really a challenge, and I think it's kind of like racism.
It's very disheartening to hear that things like that or questions like that.
And she moved to Calgary when she was little. She received all her education in Calgary, but just because of her skin color, people still challenge her.
Obviously my grandchildren, my children were born here. My grandchildren are born here.
Yeah.
One of them, who is in grade 3, came home not too long ago and said, "Grandma, why kids kept asking me where I'm really from.
Yeah.
Exactly what you said. These are little kids.
Yeah,
Where are they getting that from?
Well, it sounds like just a sentence, just a question, but it's not. It can impact people for so long time. Sometimes can impact people for their whole life.
Yes.
And when we moved here, my son was a teenager, so he purposely and tried to lose as quickly as possible his British accent. So because of the peer pressure, so sometimes the impact can be very negative and can last,
a lifetime.
Lifetime. Yes, exactly.
Yes. And we always have to remember that. We always have to remember our children to also encourage and empower them and build their confidence at home. Because, like I said, a little kid, 8-year-old, was asking me why that person kept asking.
Yes, at home is very important. I think the entire community need to come together. Otherwise, it's not enough only from home.
Yes. Thank you for that. Look at how we segue into that. But we cannot have this conversation without having the difficult discussion on racism and the what it would take for us to create an anti-racism and acceptable community.
Exactly.
In Calgary, in Alberta, and in Canada as a whole. So let me now talk about your work. Let me talk about the Immigrant Education Society. What is the Immigrant Education Society?
This society was established in 1988. So this year is our 35th anniversary. We're going to have a big celebration in the fall. Good. And we offer a lot
1988.
of 1988.
That's also the Winter Olympics year in Calgary.
Yes, exactly. So 35 years now in the community. And we did not do a lot of, advertising in the past because all of our clients are just coming to us and by word of mouth. We were never short of clients. And we offer quite a variety of programs. We have a language training program. Actually, we are the biggest link provider in Calgary. So we have 74 link classes.
Oh, wow.
Only one program. We have other ESL classes, we have employment classes, and we have training, classes. So in total, and we have for sure more than 100 classes.
Excellent.
And also we have emotional wellness or mental health support counseling,
because that is very important with immigrants. Not only the fact that we've uprooted ourselves from our familiarity into a new country where you mentioned culture shock, language shock, food shock, climate shock,
exactly,
all of that, and then loneliness, and then employment challenges. You're educated from where you're coming from. The peer is not accepted. You have to refresh. You have to reprogram yourself. And if you have children, that's another challenge. And the children have their own challenges.
Yes, exactly.
And in most countries where immigrant comes from, they don't seek counseling. Therefore, this service you are providing.
Yeah, I think especially after these 2 or 3 years, very hard time, right? And I think a lot of people have emotional wellness challenges, but newcomers particularly because of some of the stigmas, from the original culture, and some newcomers have the challenges, but they don't feel comfortable and seeking the help, seeking the assistance. So that is very important for us to run this program. So we have the first language counselor, so people can get counseling in their first language, which they feel more comfortable.
Meaning that the first language counselor means that if I speak Yoruba, which is my language, I can have a counselor that speaks my language so that I can relate. And then the counseling, the session becomes more impactful and more meaningful.
I think so, because sometimes even if you don't have a language barrier, still if the counsel is in your first language, I think it's more to your heart, and you can comprehend, deeper, and can help you more, I think. So that's why we have first language counseling. We don't cover every single language because our clients speak more than 80 different languages.
80 languages.
80 different languages, but
Wow.
we have, I think, about 10 different languages. When we don't have the language needed, we do get interpretation services from our partner organizations.
All right. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Any real particular success story can you share with us
I
from
think-
your client base?
Yeah, there are a lot. I can share with you one of the class stories. She's graduated already. She was our literacy learner, and I think they learn about the color, talk about the size, talk about how to describe things in a very simple way, right? So she took public transit when they came to classes, and she shared the story with us one day, and she was, on the bus, and she came to school. But unfortunately, she forgot her school bus, her school backpack on the bus. So, and when she, got off the bus, she thought, oh my gosh, I forgot my school backpack. So what she did was, with the teacher's help, she made a phone call and to the bus, I think it's a bus company or whatever, and she described her backpack. She said, my backpack is this color, this size, what is in it, and they managed to find the backpack for her. Isn't that a success story?
What a confidence booster.
Yeah.
For her.
Yes, and before she joined the class, she couldn't even speak a word.
Of
Yeah.
English.
Yes.
Oh, you must have lots of stories.
Many,
like
many
that.
success stories, and this is one of them.
I was going to ask you, what keeps you going? You've been with the organization for so long, and I know for a fact, because of my background in dealing with people, in working with people, in specific needs, what keeps you energized in working with the population that you
I think
work
there are
with?
so many things, and keep me energetic every day. And one of them is my clients, and they really inspire me on a daily basis. So they experience a lot of hardships, and myself as a newcomer, but some of the hardships my clients are experiencing beyond my imagination. So, but they are so determined to make Canada their home. And also, another thing is not making Canada their own home. They are so eager to give back. As soon as, they are in the position, they're just very eager to give back. Give you one example. One of the clients graduated from our entrepreneurship program. And after graduation, he set up his own business. The first thing he did was to reach out to us, began to host a practicum for our students.
Wow.
Isn't that wonderful?
Wonderful.
Yeah, so
Because that is what Canada is all about.
yeah,
Is giving back, helping each
Yes.
other, promoting each other, elevating each other, and immigrants
exactly. And
are a huge part of that.
yes, and a lot of clients after graduation, they began to volunteer for us, and some of them, become our staff.
Oh,
Isn't that
wow.
wonderful, right?
Full circle.
Yes, full circle, and also and our staff, inspire me as well. Our staff are very multicultural. I think we have about 160 staff, or more, a little bit over 160 staff. We have about 100 volunteers, and we are from very different cultural backgrounds, and we support each other, and we really practice our vision mission every day.
Yes.
And because
Which is what's the vision and the mission?
yeah, our vision is an inclusive and pluralistic society. So we're practicing that every day. We call it EDI, right? Equity, diversity, and inclusion. And our mission is to provide innovative language education and customize employment training programs and settlement programs based on best practices. Talking about the best practice, because my background is from post-secondary institution, from teaching and research background. So very uniquely in a community social service organization, we have our own research department, which was established in about 4+ years ago.
Okay.
So we do real-time research. So and we just provide immediate, spontaneous, real-time feedback about the best practices and service gaps.
Thank you. That is wonderful. So, you know, because this is a YouTube show, we can't carry on forever and forever.
For sure, and
but I'm
understand.
sure that we've captured the essence of who Dr. Sally Zhao is and the service that the Immigrant Education Society provides. But before we wrap, I would like you to speak directly to our viewers, new immigrants, struggling immigrants, people who want to relocate to Canada, or people who are already in Canada who has not experienced what immigrants experience. What would be your word to them when it comes to elevating the other person?
Okay, and if you're a newcomer, you're watching this video, I really want to say, and you have the right choice to come to Canada. This is a beautiful country, and most of people are very welcoming, very friendly. You may have some challenges. You may meet some people who are not that friendly, but be yourself and be brave, and just tell them if they hurt your feelings, tell them they hurt your feelings. And together, a City of Calgary just launched anti-racism strategy yesterday, and still a long way to go, but together I think stronger, and we are going to combat those racism, and we are going to build a very friendly, welcoming, and strong community. If you are local, and Calgarians and watching this video, I really want to encourage you to learn about different cultures. It's such a beauty. We are the same as human beings, but also different. That is the beauty of Canada. Canada does encourage, equity, diversity, and inclusion. Together, if we work together as human beings, recognize each other, respect each other, we'll build a more beautiful and strong community. At TIES, we serve about 1,400 clients on a daily basis in 3 facilities and through e-learning portal as well. There are many organizations like us. I do believe together we are stronger together, and together we can build a very good community. Yes.
Yes, it's good to be different.
Exactly. That is the beauty of Canada.
Yes. Thank you so very much. We're going to wrap on that note, but before we go, I would like to remind you to please support us and also acknowledge the people that are supporting us currently. Agape and Aki, social media marketing coach, Elite Spa and Amam, Iwa Beauty and Cosmetology College, and of course, Calgary Equity Security. Thank you so very much. Make sure you share, you like, you subscribe, and you support. Until next time, we say goodbye.